What's good, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today we have our first official 2024 post lottery NBA mock draft. We know the results now. Alex Sarr, the Atlanta Hawks are the team that gets the first overall pick, and the pick might be Alex Sarr. But make sure to like and subscribe. Go into the description, submit your video ideas, and let's get right into it. Like I meant to say, the Atlanta Hawks won the first overall pick, not Alex Sarr in particularly. And I think that with this pick, they can go a lot of different ways. I think the most likely thing I think they will do is just go ahead and select Alex Sarr with this first overall pick and add him to that young core you have with Trae Young, Jalen Johnson, Onyeka Okongwu, maybe DeJounte Murray. Let's see where they go from there. I think another option they do is trading this pick for hopefully another star to go along with DeJounte Murray and Trae Young and Jalen Johnson. Or the last thing I think they could do is trade one of their bigger guys like Trae Young and DeJounte Murray for the 4th and 8th pick, I guess, if it's going to be Trae Young, to the San Antonio Spurs. Because if you get the 4th and 8th pick in return for a guy like Trae Young, and we can add maybe guys like Zachary Sachet, Isaiah Collier, or maybe even that's Rob Dillingham, I think you have a great start to your rebuild with guys like Rob Dillingham on your roster. Maybe you can retain DeJounte Murray. Then you have guys like Jalen Johnson, Zachary Sachet, and Alex Sarr. Sounds like a fun start to the rebuild. But in this mock draft, we're going to be doing no trades. So my first overall pick is going to be pretty simple. I'm going to go Alex Sarr. He's my number 1 overall prospect. And I think the future of Alex Sarr and Onyeka Okongwu in that front court would be very fun. At pick 2, we have the Washington Wizards. I think I'm probably going to take Nikola Topic here. He did have a pretty bad injury a couple days ago in his league playoff game, but he did avoid the torn ACL. It was only a sprained knee, and he should be available for pre-draft workouts when they come along. I think the Wizards are still looking for that franchise point guard, and at 6'7", Nikola Topic can bring that and hopefully much more. So I like the pick there at 2 for the Wizards. And at 3, we have the Houston Rockets. I'm going to say they go ahead and take the Combine riser in this draft. It's going to be Reed Sheppard. Obviously, at the Combine, he has been amazing. 42-inch vertical. I think he's proven that he is the best shooter in this draft class. And through the college film we've seen, he's a great defender. We've also seen his playmaking abilities. And you could argue that Reed Sheppard is the most all-around talented player in this draft class. I think he could be a great connecting piece, whether it's next to Amen Thompson and maybe Cam Whitmore. Maybe it's Jalen Green and Amen Thompson. However that team wants to go for the future, they have a lot of young pieces. And yes, they do have a lot of young pieces. It might be hard to play them all at once, but that's really a good problem to have. So Reed Sheppard at 3, I think he has pretty much secured a top 6 spot in this draft. At pick 4, we have the San Antonio Spurs. I think they're actually going to head with Zachary Sachet here instead of one of the top point guards because they also have pick 8 from the Toronto Raptors. So there's a great chance that Stephon Castle, Rob Dillingham, or Isaiah Collier will most likely be there. Probably 2 out of the 3 will be there. So they can wait until pick 8 to pick their next point guard. So they can go ahead and take Zachary Sachet here. I mentioned it before. I don't love him anymore as much as I did before because of his inconsistencies down the line. He has not been great to end the season. The 3-point shots look worse. His dribble pull-ups have been looking worse. And I think overall he's probably taken himself out of the top pick conversations for me. I've never seen him as a future all-star. I still think he's going to be a good role player, maybe a Michael Porter Jr. type player. And as long as he hits his 3-point shots, I think he'll be a valuable player in this league. But I no longer think he is able to be taken with that number 1 overall spot. And I think he's a good fit to the Spurs, though. Wemby gets a French brother. At pick 5, we have the Detroit Pistons. And I think 2 guys they were looking at this spot was going to be guys like Reed Sheppard and Zachary Sachet. But they're already taken. So they're no longer going to be able to take that well of shooting. Don't connect might be an option, but I think this is probably a little bit too early for him. So I'm actually going to lean a guy like Ron Holland. Hopefully he can develop his shot, but you're going to be taking a guy that you can develop over time. Let's see what they do with Jaden Ivey because he's been in some trade talks. We know Monty Williams doesn't love playing him. And maybe the future 1 through 3 of Cade Cunningham, Ron Holland, and Ausar Thompson can be very well. I mean, either Ausar or Ron Holland's going to have to learn to shoot the ball at some point in their careers. But if they move on from Jaden Ivey, Ron Holland's going to be a great 2 guard. And even if they keep Jaden Ivey, I think Jaden Ivey would be relegated to the bench, which he's kind of already been in his career. So Ron Holland at 5. If he develops his shot, I think there's a great chance he could be the best player in this draft class. At pick 6, we have the Charlotte Hornets. And I've mentioned this a couple of times, but I think my favorite fit in this draft class would be Stephon Castle to the Hornets at 6. I think his defensive abilities next to LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller would complement them exponentially. Stephon Castle, I think, is the best perimeter defender in this class. Apparently, he was measured at 6'2.5" at the combine. He had to go back the next day. He fixed his height. He's now listed at 6'5.5" without shoes. So with shoes, he's probably going to be around 6'6.5", which is honestly a bit taller than I thought he was. I was able to meet Stephon Castle before after a UConn game. There was no chance he was 6'2.5", considering I'm about 5'9". He was not 5 inches taller than me. He was a lot more. So Stephon Castle at 6, my favorite fit in this draft class personally. And I think Stephon Castle is another guy who's kind of risen his what we call it, draft prospects. Kind of risen where he's able to go in this draft a bit more over time. He shot well at the combine to end the season at UConn. They won the championship, that's one thing. And he was able to play great down the line or down the stretch. I think Stephon Castle is going to be a great fit in Charlotte. At pick 7, we have the Portland Trailblazers, and another fit I love is actually going to be another UConn guy. It's going to be Donovan Clingan. I think Donovan Clingan has a great chance to come in for this Portland Trailblazers team and be a great backup center. They don't really have that luxury right now. I mean, they had Ibu Daji and Duop Reef play their backup bigs last year, which just wasn't good. And I guess DeAndre Ayton was their starter. But I feel like DeAndre Ayton's become a little bit too complacent. And I think it might be time to bring in another guy behind him. Hopefully, they could both work to that starting spot. And Donovan Clingan as a potential stretch 5, it's looking like. He's able to shoot the 3 now. It could be very good for the Portland Trailblazers. And I think, just like Stephon Castle, over the year, he's been able to gone up the draft boards a lot. And at pick 7, I really like it for the Portland Trailblazers. The word I'm looking for is draft stock. I don't know. I can't remember that. At pick 8, we have the San Antonio Spurs. And I think they are in a great situation here. They passed on point guard at pick 4 to wait till pick 8. And at pick 8, they have guys like Rob Dillingham and Isaiah Collier available. I'm going to go Rob Dillingham here. At 8, you could see this as a steal. I think it's a great pick for the Spurs. Fills their point guard hole. And whether he comes off the bench next season behind Tre Jones or maybe he even starts, I think the Spurs are heading in the right direction with this pick. Honestly, if this happened in real life, they'd probably be getting an A+ draft grade from me. At pick 9, we have the Memphis Grizzlies. And I think with some of the higher end prospects off the board, I mean, there's still Matisse Buzelis and Isaiah Collier, maybe even Cody Williams, Corey Walter. I guess there's still a couple guys left. I think they're probably going to look for more of a developmental guy here at pick 9. I'm going to go with Matisse Buzelis. I think he has one of the highest ceilings in this class. To enter the year, he was looked at as the possibly number 1 overall pick. He's fallen since then. The jump shot hasn't looked great. He's still a good defender, though. We know he's able to move well without the ball. His ball handling has improved a lot. And at pick 9 for the Memphis Grizzlies, whether it might not be a big need right now, Matisse Buzelis can potentially in the future add to that core of Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Desmond Bane. I'd like to pick at 9 for the Memphis Grizzlies. At pick 10, we have the Utah Jazz. I'm going to go ahead and pick Cody Williams with this pick at 10. I think he's not going to have too much pressure to come in to this Utah Jazz team because they already have guys ahead of him like John Collins, Lauri Markkanen, Taylor Hendricks, who are going to be having minutes over Cody Williams because they do play similar positions. Cody Williams going to hopefully come into that team, play like the 8th, 9th man, and get about, 18, maybe to 20 minutes off the bench. I don't think he needs to be thrown in right into that starting lineup just yet. He needs time to develop. And in a place like Utah, I think that's going to be a great place for him to develop. So I like the pick at 10, and I think that Danny Ainge does know what he's doing. At pick 11, we have the Chicago Bulls. If this was a mock draft where I was the GM of every team, I'd probably be looking at guys like Isaiah Collier, Jacoby Walter, maybe even Tyler Smith. But instead of that, I'm actually going to go ahead and take Don't Connect here. It's looking more and more likely by the day that they're going to be keeping guys like DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, maybe even Lonzo Ball. Probably not Nikola Vucevic, but maybe Nikola Vucevic and Alex Caruso. So if they're going to try to keep on winning, they might as well add a guy who can come in and contribute right away, like Don't Connect. Do I love the fit? I mean, the fit's fine, but for the future, I don't know if it's a great pick. I would rather see them pick a guy who has a higher potential and who's much younger than what Don't Connect is at, 22, 23 years old. So at 11, Don't Connect to the Chicago Bulls. At pick 12, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I know this guy has been struggling a little bit in the draft combine, but I'm still going to take him here. I don't think the Thunder really care too much about how Tyler Smith has been performing during the draft combine. because they're able to see his production on the court. But honestly, it's a little bit, not going to say scary, but maybe a bit concerning. He didn't shoot well from the three at all. His free throw was bad. Just overall, his jump shot just didn't look as good as we know it can be. I still think his versatility, being a 6'11", small forward / power forward / small ball center, he could add a lot to that Oklahoma City team, who looks to spread the floor, get taller guys who are able to make plays in length at the forward position, like guys like Tyler Smith. Will he play in year one? Most likely not. But down the line, he can find a spot in the rotation, and I think he could add a lot to the Oklahoma City Thunder team. At pick 12, we have the Sacramento Kings. And I think with Don't Connect off the board, I'm going to lean another shooter in this draft class, and it's going to be Jared McCain out of Duke. I think unlike the Tyrese Halliburton, De'Aaron Fox situation, they're not going to be forced to move one of them because they both need the ball to score. Jared McCain's not like that. Jared McCain can run around screens. Jared McCain does not need the ball in his hands to be an effective basketball player, or at least effective on the offensive side. I think the Sacramento Kings can take that very well. With Malik Monk possibly leaving in free agency, they can kind of fill up that hole with Jared McCain. And I think with the player comps of Immanuel Quickley, what else has there been? There's been like Gary Harris. I've seen. I know that's a little bit less than Immanuel Quickley, but I've seen stuff like that. I think it can be a good burst off the bench and give them great three-point shooting immediately and solid defense as well. At pick 14, we have the Portland Trailblazers. After picking Donovan Clingan with their first pick, they'd probably be looking for more of a wing here. But at 14, there's not too many great wing prospects available. We have guys like Tyler Smith and Don't Connect already off the board, and Cody Williams. So some of the top tier guys are already off. I don't think you'd take a reach on maybe a guy like Tristan Da Silva, even though I do like him a lot out of Colorado. Probably not a Kyle Filipowski at this point. So I'm actually going to give them Jacoby Walter here out of Baylor. 6'5". I know he does play the position of guys like Shaedon Sharpe, Anthony Simons. They already have two great young guards there. I mean, they have three young guards in general, with Scoot Henderson as well. But I think down the line, Jacoby Walter can be a great six-man for this Portland Trailblazers team. Give them good scoring off the bench, great defense. Hopefully, his shooting inconsistencies can take care of themselves. And Jacoby Walter can be a great, efficient guard in this league. Probably will end up being more of a backup guard, though, if I would have to guess. At pick 15, we have the Miami Heat. I think with a guy like Isaiah Collier still being on the board, they'd have to go with him. Isaiah Collier, okay at the combine. I think he can go a lot higher than this, so I kind of fell him a little bit. But he's a lot shorter than we thought. He's not the 6'5" guard we thought. He's 6'2.5" without shoes. The jump shot looked okay. It was iffy at times. We know at USC he had turnover problems, averaged 4 assists, but I think that is also going to take care of itself at the NBA. I think Isaiah Collier will be a great immediate backup point guard for this Miami Heat team. I think he'll deserve minutes right away. And at the 6'3", 6'4" frame with shoes on, he could be a nice stocky guard to put behind whoever they start next year, whether it's Terry Rozier or Tyler Hero off the one, and maybe be their Kyle Lowry light player, because they had him last year for a little bit, and maybe Isaiah Collier can come in and do a similar thing, and maybe even better. At pick 16, we have the 76ers. I think they're a team that can go in a lot of different ways. I could see them go ahead and pick back up big here possibly, and a guy like Kel'el Ware, maybe an Yves Missi. I could also see them maybe take a backup guard like a Devin Carter or Carlton Carrington. But I think I'm actually going to lean forward here in Tristan Da Silva. I know it might be a little bit early for some guys who are not aware of or familiar with his game, but down the line, Da Silva has been great for Colorado Buffaloes. He had 2 great games in the tournament when Colorado won their first game against, who was it? Who did they beat in that first game? Can't really remember. I know they lost, they did lose to Marquette in that, they beat Florida in the first game. They lost to Marquette in the second game. Da Silva had 2 good games, so I think pick at 16 will be good. Hopefully filling that Tobias Harris hole that they're probably going to lose in this offseason. At pick 17, we have the Pelicans, but I'm actually going to trade this one to the Lakers because it's looking like that is what's going to happen in real life. They're going to take the Lakers pick from this year, and next year the Pelicans are going to take, or the Lakers are going to retain their pick from this year, and next year the Pelicans will take the 2025 pick of the Lakers because it will be a stronger draft class. The Lakers could possibly be worse if LeBron decides to leave, and there are a lot of scenarios going into it, but I think down the line, it looks like that the Los Angeles Lakers will have this pick. And I think here at 17, they're going to go ahead and take Devin Carter. I think he's going to be able to relieve the pressure of trying to re-sign guys like Spencer Dinwiddie and D'Angelo Russell. He'll probably end up re-signing D'Angelo Russell, but probably less Spencer Dinwiddie. I think Devin Carter, like Isaiah Collier, can be a great guard off the bench right away. With how LeBron plays, how LeBron likes his young players, I think he'll really appreciate a guy like Devin Carter, who's not afraid to stick his nose into things, who's able to play lockdown defense and get into their best guards area. Just play lockdown defense in general. Devin Carter can bring that for the Los Angeles Lakers. And as a Lakers fan personally, if Devin Carter falls at 17 and we're able to take him, I'd be very happy. At pick 18, we have the Orlando Magic. I think I'm going to head big here with this 18th overall pick. We have guys like Kel'el Ware and Yves Missi here. I think I'm going to go ahead and take the likes of Yves Missi. Be a nice backup big for them. Won't have to play right away with guys like Wendell Carter and Mo Wagner being there. I'm going to assume they do move on from a guy like Goga Bitadze. But yeah, as a third-string center, might spend some time in the G League, but he can keep developing under there, try to improve his three-point shot, which looked pretty good at the Combine, by the way. And I think down the line, Yves Missi can be that team's starting center. At pick 19, we have the Raptors, who was not able to retain their personal first-round pick, and it fell out of the top 6, so the Spurs were able to take it. So right now, looks like the guards that they might have been targeting are no longer on the board, like maybe a Jacoby Walter, who else? Maybe a Jared McCain, a Devin Carter. So I think they're going to go ahead and pick their other positional need in big man. I'm going to go ahead and take Kel'el Ware here out of Indiana. Jakob Poeltl looks like not going to be the long-term option for them. And we know Kel'el Ware can come in right away, hopefully stretch the floor for that team, play some solid defense, and hopefully that he's going to be able to play a good amount of minutes, because we saw at Indiana, he got into foul trouble at some times, didn't really have a high motor, and maybe he's going to have more of a high motor because he made it to the NBA. I mean, that's definitely something. I mean, you made it to the league. It's time to start playing hard. But we'll see. We'll see how Kel'el Ware performs. I think he has a wide projected draft here. Could end up going as high as maybe 16 to the 76ers. But I could also see him fall all the way to the second round. Kel'el Ware has been one of my favorite players to watch this year at Indiana. And I'm excited to see what he's going to be able to do in the NBA. At pick 20, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think this is a team that can head in a lot of directions. Wouldn't mind a forward here. I like guys like Tijan Salon, maybe a Keyshawn George, a Bobby Clintman. I think I'm going to head with Salon, though, here at 20. I'm going to take him. I think that, yes, the Cavs can go in a lot of directions here. Actually, I think I might change that real quick. With just a guy that's been on my board a little bit. I think I'm going to go ahead and take Carlton Carrington, Bub Carrington, out of Pitt. Can he be your future starting point guard? Most likely not, because you do have Darius Garland there. But in what Bub Carrington can bring, he could be a great future backup point guard. Maybe, just maybe, he can be your future shooting guard, because he does have the height at about 6'5". And whether or not you move on from a guy like Donovan Mitchell or Darius Garland this offseason, right away I think Bub Carrington can bring good scoring off the bench, good defense off the bench, and good playmaking off the bench as well. I think Bub Carrington has risen his draft stock a lot over this Combine. He's been great at the Combine so far, and I think at 20, it's going to be around the range we do see Bub Carrington go on draft night. At pick 21, we have the Pelicans. I think with this pick, I'm going to head big man here in Kyle Filipowski. Filipowski's fell down the draft board a little bit. Apparently, he has a wingspan shorter than his height, which is kind of crazy considering you're a 7-footer in the NBA. But he's got slow feet. He's not the best defender. He's not the best three-point shooter. Has solid post moves, but we'll see how well that translates to the NBA. I think right away for the Pelicans, he could be a solid backup big man. Let's see whether they move on from Valanciunas, whether they move on from a guy like Larry Nance, and Kyle Filipowski will deserve to get minutes right away in his rookie season. At pick 22, we have the Phoenix Suns. I'm going to have them go point guard here in Tyler Kolek. I know most likely they'll have to trade this pick in real life because they're going to look to continue to build on from that older core they have right now in guys like Grayson Allen, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant. But we're going to be doing no trades in this mock draft. So yes, it might be the highest I've seen or we've had Tyler Kolek going But the Suns are a point guard needy team. They were definitely missing a lead guard last year, and I think Tyler Kolek can fill that position pretty well for them. At pick 23, we have the Milwaukee Bucks. I think I'm going to head with a bigger wing here. I'm going to be between probably Bobby Klintman or Ryan Dunn at 23. A guy that can go ahead and guard bigs as well. I think I'm going to give them kind of like the idea of Ryan Dunn, but I'm actually going to probably lean to Jean Salon to them here at 23. I think actually, no, we're going to switch that back. We're actually going to give them, it's definitely tough. This is a live mock draft, as you can tell. I don't have this written down in front of me. But Klintman, Salon, and Ryan Dunn are all options here. I think I'm going to give them, I'm probably going to give them to Jean Salon still. I will give them to Jean Salon. I know I kind of just backtracked that, but then went right back to it. But Salon, he has high potential out of France. He has a raw game. And if that can develop at the NBA level, he could be very good. At pick 24 and 25, we have the New York Knicks. Back-to-back picks, I think they're probably going to be picking guys like Keyshawn George here, a young developmental wing out of Miami. Hopefully they can develop him. Will not play his rookie season for sure, but down the line, if he gains Coach Tibbs' trust, I think he could be a solid role player for the Knicks. At pick 25, we have the Knicks again, and I think this time they're going to be looking to pick a more defensive-minded player here at 25. I know Ryan Dunn hasn't been amazing, but I kind of want to lean him here. I am going to go Ryan Dunn here out of Virginia. We know how much Tibbs loves defense. Ryan Dunn will do that to a T. He can guard 1 through 5 essentially. He was only listed at 6'6.5" at the combine, so that kind of lowers my expectations of him guarding the center position. But I still think Ryan Dunn could be very versatile on defense, and if he improves that jump shot, he could be a very solid player in the NBA. At pick 26, we have the Wizards. I'm actually going to go with a little curveball here. Give me Zach Edey out of Purdue. The Wizards really don't have a center they're willing to trust on right now. Marvin Bagley Jr. is kind of their guy, and he's very inconsistent. I think Zach Edey is going to be able to put up really good numbers as a rookie in the NBA. They're going to a team like the Wizards who really don't have their number one guy. I'm not saying Zach Edey is going to be their number one guy, but I'm saying he's going to have an opportunity to get a lot of touches in the paint for this Wizards team, and that could possibly be beneficial for his NBA development. So I'm going to go ahead and take Zach Edey at pick 26. At pick 27, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves. They're a team that I can definitely see go in a bunch of different directions. I could possibly see Kevin McCullough here out of Kansas. Maybe Johnny Furphy. Could also see a Jalen Tyson down the board. I kind of like Pacomi Dadiet. Maybe an Alex Caravan. He's been pretty good at the combine. I think with this pick, though, I'm going to lean. There's definitely a lot of good players here. Give me Johnny Furphy here out of Kansas. He's going to be a great shooter right away for this Timberwolves team. Will be a solid defender. Hopefully he improves on that playmaking a little bit, because I'd like to see him improve on that. He is a wing, but he's going to have to be able to play some backup guard at times too. So if he improves on that playmaking, we know his shooting's good. We know his defense is good. I think Johnny Furphy can be a great 3-and-D player in the NBA. At pick 29, 28, we have the Nuggets. I'm going to go Bobby Klintman right here. Gives them a nice versatile small forward / power forward, a little bit of a swingman who can also possibly guard 3 through 5, maybe even 2 through 5. I think Klintman has a lot of potential. Sorry for the noise right there. But I think Klintman has a lot of potential. He's going to need a team to untap it for them, and I think that can very much be the Denver Nuggets. At pick 29, we have the Utah Jazz. They can definitely go in a lot of directions, but I'm actually going to get Pacomi Dadiet here into my first round. Actually, I might go with Kevin McCullough. I was going to say I want to go Pacomi Dadiet here, but actually give me Kevin McCullough here out of Kansas. I really want to go Dadiet, but I think Kevin McCullough does find a way to get into the first round. I think right away McCullough will be a great 3-and-D guy off the bench for the Utah Jazz. He brings immediate shot-making ability, and I think as an older player out of Kansas and Texas Tech, he could probably get minutes right away for that Utah Jazz team. I think a draft class of Cody Williams and Kevin McCullough will be good for the Jazz. It'll probably end up getting like a B+ for me on draft night if that really happens. And finally, at pick 30, we have the Boston Celtics. Guys, I could see them going. Probably Jalen Tyson. Probably not Bakome Didier. Maybe Terrence Shannon. Maybe Alex Caravan. But I'm going to go Jalen Tyson here out of California. I don't think he drops out of the first round. Honestly, he's one of my favorite players to watch personally during the college season. And for him to drop to 30, I think it's going to be a great steal for the Celtics down the line. So that's going to be it for my mock draft. Hope you guys enjoyed. For some players who might have went a little bit higher or lower than expected, I think this is the lowest I've had Zachary Sachet. Other than that, maybe Tyler Smith a little bit high. Isaiah Collier maybe a little bit low. Tristan Da Silva, I believe this is the highest I've had him. Same thing with Bub Carrington. Anybody else? I think that might be it. I think this is the highest I've had Kolek. But yeah, that's the end of my mock draft. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe. Go into the description and submit your video ideas, because I promise I will be able to do them. And yeah, thanks you guys for watching, and see you next time. Peace.